Yo, big dog back again. Yeah, 2-2 at Anfield. Let's get into it. First of all, I'm going to start with the Guard of Honor that everyone made a big song and dance about, and you had Trey Deeney coming out saying Arsenal shouldn't have done it or shouldn't do it, and like no more Mr. Nice Guys. But you see, that's funny because you know what it is. Had Arsenal not done the Guard of Honor, it would have made us look like sour losers. It would have made us look disrespectful, unhonourable. All of this stuff that would have then started coming out like, Arteta's a bad loser and what kind of man. Like, you get what I'm saying? Yeah, and you know what? It's the respectful thing to do. Like, it's not that deep. Like, I know all these other fans that be getting all in their knickers in a twist about the silliest of things. So what? Give them a Guard of Honor. It's not that deep. We made it deep because fans were like, no, nothing worse than giving them a Guard of Honor. It's been happening for years. Happens all the time. Not the first time we've had to give a team a Guard of Honor. It is what it is. When we win the Premier League, if we can get the business done early, teams will have to give us a Guard of Honor, and that is how it works. Yeah. So let's just crack on. It's not that deep. Get over it. And the fans that want to make a big song and dance about it, I mean, rival fans, come on, man. Your time will come soon. Best believe, yeah? All right. But moving straight on, get into the game. 2-2, 2-0 down. Very early on in the 20th and 21st minute. Luis Diaz and Luis Diaz goal. Anyway, I know Luis Diaz scored one of them. Don't really care, to be honest with you. 2-0 down early. Wouldn't say it's anyone's fault. Like, it's Liverpool at home, title winners, feeling themselves. Two quick goals caught us off guard. It's how it goes. It is what it is. Cody Gakpo. That's it. Yeah, is what it is. We move. What can I say? What I will say though is, and I'm just gonna more focus on my team. Yeah, is the resilience. That 2-0 down, come out at half time, get the early goal, Martinelli, and then to go on and pull back that game for a point. You know what I'm saying? It just shows even at this stage of the season, after all what has happened, and I'll say this here because I don't feel like we've had the best of seasons. I feel like it's been a hard season. Hard in a way that every step of the way we've had to adjust. Do you get what I mean? You lose Moreno at the start of the season, you adjust. Well, he hadn't really been in the team anyway, so you really didn't really know what he was going to bring to the team. But then you lose Odegaard, you adjust. You lose Saka, you adjust. You lose Havertz, you have to adjust. You lose Gabriel Jesus. You lose all these players, and you have to keep adjusting, keep adjusting, keep adjusting. Let alone, you lose some players due to suspension. Red card, Saliba, Trossard, Declan Rice, all these things that have happened that haven't gone in Arsenal's favour, and whatever they had to do, they just had to keep on adjusting to losing these players. So now we're at this stage of the season where they've got to a semi-final in the Champions League, which I feel like they've done very well to do that. Yeah, with all these setbacks, and then they get to this stage in the season where it's late on in the season, loads of football is being played, and the players are tired. You can see it; they're tired. We've got a thin squad as it was anyway. Do you get what I mean? And they're tired, and it's starting to show. But you know what? What I will give this set of players credit for and praise them for, and I'm proud of them for it, is the fact that they just don't give up. They're working hard. They're working for the badge. They're playing to their best ability, and sometimes we get mad at them. Like I've been on to Odegaard recently. I haven't made any videos because I was still kind of processing and getting a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm still, if you want to say, upset from my Champions League exit, but and bare other things was going on. But with my friends, I've been getting onto Odegaard, and yeah, you know what? I've been a bit harsh. I feel at him being the captain and wearing the armband, you are open to criticism. You are not exempt. You have to almost show up when you don't want to show up. Do you get what I'm saying? But he's worked, he presses, he does what he needs to do, he tries, and I've got to give him credit for that. Even though I feel next season we need to see Odegaard of 2 seasons ago, but I understand with certain players being missing and systems being changed and things like that, that maybe not allows him to be at his best. Whereas, 2 seasons ago when it was free flowing football, we're running off of teams, teams are coming onto us, and we're playing, we counter attack and we do this, and that's when he's at his best. You know what? Today he gave us a sly reminder of what he can do, threading those little passes. You know, the shot that he had for the Moreno goal. He's a very good like long shot shooter. So we need to see more of that. We need to see that passing because that is what is lacking. We need that creativity, someone who can not dictate the play because people at party pick up the tempo and get it moving and dictate what's going on. But you need someone on the ball that, when we're in the final third, can execute that. That damaging pass, that one that just breaks lines and plays a player in, that can see runs and deliver and create a problem that it's not just Saka on the right hand side who is always considered the danger man. So Odegaard in that sense is going to have to step up. I'd like to see them maybe bring someone in that, challenges him in that 10 position, or whether you call it a double eight, what we play. I'm not too sure what you call it at the minute, but yeah, someone to come and challenge him in there. But you know what? Like, fair play to the guy. He's got the armband, he runs, he presses, he does what he needs to do, and everyone in that team has been working hard. So I can't be harsh on the team. Even the manager, like, one thing I say, a lot of people have a lot of criticism of Arteta, but one thing I say about Arteta is that he sets the team up to win. He sets the team up to win. I just think the problem we have is not all the players are up to the quality that we need in order to execute. And what I mean is that, like, in certain games, when you've got 3 or 4 chances, you need to at least, or 3 or 4 high percentage chances at that as well. You need to at least score 2 or 3 even. You need to put them in the back of the net. You need to turn those chances into goals. That's how the ruthless teams work. If you look at how PSG played us, they may not have had many chances, but the ones they took those high percentage chances. When it mattered, they took those chances. Whereas we came up against a very good Donnarumma, but we never took the chances. We never took them, regardless whether the keeper's saving them, even though they're 50-50 or whatever you want to call it, high percentage, and the keeper's got a 25% of saving it. We've got to make sure with that 75%, we're capitalizing. Do you get what I'm saying? We've got to score. Trossard had a chance to score. Martinelli had a chance to score, and we need to score those chances in those games. So I think, like, people can be critical of Arteta and say he's had 5 years, but you can say the years, the money spent, and take out all of the context and just focus on those things. And yeah, on paper it could look a certain way, but you have to include everything. He has improved us. He has made us better. He is at a stage where we're tinkering on the edge of doing great things. And people say, look at Fergie. Fergie came in, took 6 years, I think, to win his first title, or however long it was, and or his first bit of silverware and stuff, and even longer to win the Prem. So Man United had patience, and that manager was there for God over 20 something plus years. So this era that we're in, where everyone just wants to in and out, recycle managers, one come in, one go out, one come in, one go out, can't get results. I'm not of that. Like, we've had George Graham, then we had Arsene Wenger for God knows how long. So I'm used to having a manager that's there. And I think Arsenal fans need to remember that we need to be patient. We need to just not panic. Like, we're on the verge of something great, which I believe, and we just need to stick it out and carry on believing and stay with it. So that's where I'm at with it all in total. But yeah, all in all, I think we did well and showed character to get back in this game, considering how tired we was. Um, it's interesting because now, with the likes of players like Zubimendi coming in, and I'm hearing that we've placed a bid for Gyökeres. It means that there will be players coming in that are gonna be rotated. I think Arteta needs to kind of keep more players around the club. Like, I think you can't go wrong with having more or something, can it? If you've got more talent, more players around, more, when you get into these situations when you're lacking in numbers, you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? You need options. I think going into next season, he will learn that he needs options. So you can't be sending every player on loan. Not saying Vieira or Reece Nelson would have made a significant difference, but the thing that you have there is that you have them. You have options. You can rest players. You can spread the team out over a long period of time that allows you to get to these later stages in the season and still be competing at a high level because the players are still fresher. Do you get what I'm saying? We see it last season when Liverpool burnt out and they kind of fell off towards the end of last season. Whereas this season they kind of burnt out, but they were able to maintain the Premier League because the rest of us were so far off the pace. So yeah, that'd be interesting. I'm big on the Zubimendi thing. I think, to be honest, haven't watched a lot of him, but I've heard people want to watch the videos and people speak highly of him. So listen, if he can play similar to how Partey plays and plays forward passes and able to dictate the play at a nice tempo, then I'm happy with that. Especially with Jorginho on his way out as well. Trossard, Saliba, they're trying to open up talks of contracts. I'm happy with that. But yeah, man, listen, all in all, I take the point. If we're just looking at the game, in the grand scheme of things, it's been a disappointing season. And yeah, would have loved to have come out with something more this season in terms of some sort of trophy. But it is what it is. But if we're just looking at the result, 2-2 at Anfield, not a bad result considering it was 2-0 down at half time. So just that, resilience and that, hard work to come back into the game and push to get a result is, yeah. And now it just means now we need three points to kind of be Champions League secure, which is just a madness to say because we've been second place all this time, but it's also, you know what, like I feel if other teams sustained the amount of injuries that we sustained this season, they would have fell off a lot sooner. Like now you can kind of see it catching up with us, thank God, with 2 games left to play. Whereas I feel like a lot of teams, if they'd incurred these amount of injuries, especially to their front attacking line, would have dropped off. Like, you look at Amarin and what's going on with Man United, and I'm not going to get into that. I'll save that for another video. But it's like, they were 4 points off top four when he came in. Not really had that many injuries, lost Ahmad and whatever. Now they're 16th. It's crazy, and what's crazy what's going on with Tottenham and Man United at the minute. And it's not really being talked about that deeply, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that in another video. Yeah, I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like, subscribe button, show some support for your people, share it if possible as well. You done know, big dog, back again. See you soon, yeah? Let's go.